On October 7th, 2001, the Afghan War broke out. Many people enlisted to fight, one of those people being Mike Stephen Mendez. Imagine being in his shoes, having to leave home, thinking every hug given to a loved one could be the last. Always having a thought, thinking, when is there going to be a call back? Mendez goes through this routine every single day. Mendez's experience was no different than others. His story starts in a big family in Bryn Mawr, Pennsylvania. Mendez grew up with two brothers and two sisters. He was born on September 4th, 1968. Mendez didn't know as a child that he wanted to be in the military. Mendez grew up as a normal child. He played with his friends and did anything any normal kid would do. He went through middle school and high school. When it was time for college, he needed money. That is why he originally enlisted in the military. He never knew that he would stay in the military for so long. He thought it was just a temporary thing. Mendez started to like helping the United States of America. He did not finish college and continued with the military. Mendez was in the Air Force. Still to this day, he is in the Air Force. Mendez loves it. He knew what other wars were like. But when the Afghan War came around, he had a totally new perspective on war. The population in Afghanistan before the Afghan War was 20.6 million. The United States was a less violent place before the Afghanistan War, but the U.S. always had some type of fighting. However, this was the first official war since Vietnam. The Afghan War started in 2001 and ended in 2014. The war was between the Taliban and the U.S. According to BBC, there was a lot of pressure on the Afghan leaders to hand over Osama bin Laden. When the Taliban refused, the U.S. decided they would use their armed forces. That is how the Afghanistan War started. First off, who is Osama bin Laden? Osama bin Laden is a terrorist. He was the person who planned the attack on the World Trade Center. He was not a very good person. Mendez was there the day the attack happened, 9/11. He helped clear the skies. Mendez was one of the people who made sure no more planes were coming after the first two. When the Afghanistan War ended in 2014, Mendez and many other men and women were relieved. Mendez says, although war is a terrible thing, I would have never gotten to see the places I saw without being in the military. Mendez was also a bit sad when it ended, not because he likes fighting, which he does not. He was sad it was over because he was making so many great friends. One of Mendez's best friends he made in the military. They have been friends since the first war they were in together. They are still friends to this day, 30 years later. The Afghan War was different from other wars, Mendez says. The war was a new type of scary. His country was looking for one person in specific. That is really hard to do and find. This is a war I won't forget, he says. Even as the war came to an end, it isn't the end for Mendez. Although Mendez's experience was no different from others, it is still quite a memory to have. The Afghan War was hard, but there's a quote. The cost of freedom is always high, but Americans have always paid it. And one path we shall never choose, and that is the path of surrender or submission. Always stay strong, like Mike Stephen Mendez did.